Good morning to all. I think the topic for this event, that is reimagining government, is very relevant in today's context. When we talk about governance, as you saw in the previous presentation, the Digital India program has already created a massive impact in terms of digitalizing the government, improving public services, and really impacting the lives of common people in almost every way. So going forward, how do you visualize the impact of the latest technologies on governance and in the larger context on the overall economy, society, etc.? So when we talk about AI, I think we need to realize that AI is now a leading platform technology which is going to affect almost every sector that we can imagine, including our lives, the way we conduct ourselves, our interactions with others, with neighbors, with others in the world, almost everything. If you really try to imagine where AI is going to take us, there are some very imaginative works by leading scholars, and they talk about how AI is going to impact our society, our future, etc. Have you heard of Ray Kurzweil? He has written two very influential books. Anyone who can name the books? The first one is The Singularity is Near. It was written in 2005. But before that, in 1999, he had predicted that by 2029, AI will reach the level of human intelligence. And as we all have seen the developments in the last couple of years and the way it is progressing, the rate at which we are seeing the developments in the field of AI, that goal might be reached earlier. Earlier, I'm sure you never heard of $100 million salaries in technology field for skilled researchers. So we are all aware now that a particular company, Meta, has offered such high salaries to really get the researchers from another firm to itself to work on super intelligence. So that's the way we are seeing the progress of AI in the coming time, and it's going to really impact everything that we do. Now, the second book that Ray Kurzweil written, that is called The Singularity is Nearer. First one is The Singularity is Near. The second one, The Singularity is Nearer. This came just last year. And in this, he predicts that by 2045, singularity will be reached. And by this, he means that humans will merge with AI. So what does that mean? So he says that your brain will become part of the overall AI cloud. There will be nanobots in your, it won't be a physical invasive implant, but it will be non-invasive kind of nanobots operating in your body, which will allow your brain to think not only within the limitations of its biological form, it will be connected to the overall AI cloud worldwide. So when you think about something, when you really try to pose a question and try to answer it, you will be able to refer not only to the knowledge within your brain, but to the overall AI cloud in the world automatically. So that is what he calls merging of the humans with AI. And we do not yet know, it's still 20 years from today, but even that also might reach earlier given the way that we are seeing the developments. The third book that is relevant is called Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark. He's a Swedish-American author. So he says that Life 1.0 was the biological origin of the human being itself, the human species. Life 2.0 is what we have seen till now, the human intelligence developing, our society, cultural norms developing, etc., etc. Life 3.0 is in the age of AI. And that again is a reimagination of our entire governance, society, the way we live, the way we conduct ourselves. So given the kind of developments, what is it that we can expect about future of governance? So when we talk about AI, already we have seen impacts. We saw in the previous presentation some domain-specific cases as to how AI is going to impact. So let's try to really understand how it is going to impact governance in terms of the way we are seeing the current developments. So if we talk about AI, it's a relatively recent phenomenon. The first chatbot came in the end of 22, and then after that there have been several, and now they are improving their capabilities. In terms of governance, we have seen some applications, but then they really are not at a stage where full maturity has been reached. So for example, when we talk about AI in education, then perhaps AI can be used for intelligent tutoring. You can do personalized tutoring to a child based on his abilities, his areas of difficulty, his deficiencies, which is not possible in the current traditional framework, where the teachers in the school teach everyone equally, and then those who are capable or those who are more, those who can understand better in a quicker time, they go ahead. But then can we use AI for this kind of personalized tutoring of the children? That will improve the education outcomes by leaps and bounds. That's just one possibility. Then other examples which are more common. For example, a student passing 10th or 12th grade. And then this application based on AI can suggest to that child or to that student as to where he can take admissions based on predictive analysis of the scores, the college's admission criteria, etc., etc. So this kind of approach based on these domain-specific capabilities can really enhance the effectiveness of the current interventions that we have in different domains. When we talk about AI in healthcare, there are a number of developments that are happening already because of the National Digital Health Mission program that we all, I'm sure many of you are aware. That program aims at digitalizing the entire health domain in terms of offering services through a digital platform, which brings together all the stakeholders, hospitals, insurance companies. Hospital means both government and private. And you can keep all the health records at one place. You can access them from anywhere. So all those features are there. Now, can we take it further? Can we deploy AI in healthcare to really do a predictive kind of analysis, and based on the history of the health incidents or developments or the health parameters of the person, can we give him predictive kind of a template as to what precautions he should take, what kind of lifestyle he should have, what kind of modifications he should do in his lifestyle to avoid certain kind of diseases? And that is very much possible. Can we use AI-based interventions to really improve the interface with citizens for healthcare delivery, for example, or to provide services? I was earlier in Employees State Insurance Corporation, and there in 2023, for the first time in the entire government, we had launched an AI-powered chatbot for providing all the services that ESIC was offering to its own constituents through that chatbot. It was called ESIC Mitra. I hope it is still available. I'm not really sure now. But it was the first AI-powered chatbot with domain-specific training of the data within the ESIC ecosystem from which you could get answers to any query in any format that you inputted. It was not FAQ that we have recently seen. It was a much more intelligent tool for the people, the ESIC beneficiaries, to really ask questions and seek answers and other responses. Now you can enhance that. Suppose I want to access my health record. I can use a chatbot interface instead of really searching, logging in, and then going through all the step-by-step procedure. I can just fire a query, access my diagnostic report of January 2025. It will give you. It should be able to give you. That's the capability that we're talking about when we think of using AI for specific domain cases. What about financial world? I can use intelligent chatbot interfaces to really make people aware about the possibilities for investment, for example, for savings instruments. Right now, that is not there. That intelligence part is missing. You have to seek information yourself proactively. When we talk about public services, can we make these services personalized? For example, right now the framework is that I am a citizen. I want a particular, let's say, certificate, income certificate, typical service availed of by people and in the villages, or a community certificate. So there, I go to a portal, I log in, I have to satisfy the eligibility criteria, documents I upload, and then it gives me some kind of response, and then after some time I get the certificate. Now just flip the coin. The system, if you use AI-powered applications today, the system itself can collect the data about individuals, find out what services you are eligible for, and then proactively ping you or inform you that you can avail these services. You just need to really give your consent that you want to get this income certificate or caste certificate or residence certificate or whatever. And that will be really helpful when we talk about digital inclusion or financial inclusion. The reason is, even today, the level of digital literacy among the people in rural areas is not really that high for them to be able to understand and navigate through digital platforms. So this proactive service delivery empowered by AI can really change that situation and bring everyone into its fold, because then you don't really need to think what you really are eligible for and from where to produce all that. The AI systems will link the missing pieces, link the dots, and provide you that service proactively. And that's the potential that we should have in mind when we talk about future of governance powered by AI. There are many examples. Cyber security is one area which you also saw in the previous presentation, where we can use the power of AI to really ensure a safe cyberspace for everyone. AI-based tools can really predict any kind of harmful situations when a person is navigating the cyberspace and give him adequate kind of warnings or precautions so that you can avoid those situations. And any kind of risky behavior or risky platforms which the person is trying to access, even there the person can be forewarned. So there are a number of possibilities through which you can really deploy the power of AI to improve the public services to the people. Right. Other domain, all domains can really benefit from AI intervention. AI in agriculture. You can imagine any kind of domain and AI in logistics. So the platforms like Gati Shakti, they already have a huge amount of data from various sectors, from various levels of government, to really allow departments to plan their own projects proactively. This can be further enhanced by really joining the gaps together and then allowing departments to see through the platform proactively where they need intervention. Right now, I need to really think about the requirements or the areas where I need to intervene. The AI powered systems can join the different resources of multiple government agencies and give you that lead information through its power of predictive analysis. So what do you need? So AI in governance has a lot of potential. So what do you need to really ensure that this can really be brought in practice? So you need to do a few things. I will just explain briefly, because that is required to really be completed or required to be done to really exploit the full power of AI in governance. So when we talk about AI in governance, not all government agencies or departments, they are capable of really deploying these tools or understanding how they can develop the applications or use cases. So what is required to be done? We need to think of a unified AI stack for the government, which would involve ready-made common infrastructure, AI-ready data centers, for example, AI applications, the access to data from all departments, so that the individual departments, they need not spend time on creating their own AI-ready infrastructure. They can just use this common digital public infra in the form of a unified AI stack to really focus on only use cases for their domains or for their ministries or departments. That will save a lot of time. So a unified AI stack as a DPI can really be a game changer when we talk about future of AI in governance or future of governance itself. Then we need to really create high quality digital infra for all the stakeholders. AI data centers, both by the government and the private sector. We are way behind the world in this domain. In fact, I read somewhere that India has at present only 4 data centers which are AI ready, which can really take AI workloads and provide that kind of compute, etc. You need to really have high-speed networks running across the entire country, length and breadth, including rural areas, for people to be able to access and ensure that these AI applications will drive the transformation that we are all talking about. So this is the first requirement. Then digital governance. All ministries, as I mentioned, must focus on using AI in their domains to improve their citizen interface. This will involve focusing on developing use cases which can really use AI for driving this kind of change in the public service interface. Then, third requirement. There are many others, but I'll just focus on few key pieces of this entire template. We need to do a skill and capacity building at a massive scale. Without that, we cannot really hope to bring this kind of transformation in governance, or even at a larger scale in the economy or society. Skilling in all government agencies, all ministries, all departments, all levels of government is required at a massive scale to really bring all the employees at a speed with the concept of AI and how it can really be used in their domains to transform their own work and to transform the work that they do for the country, for the citizens, for the businesses, etc., etc. So this is another area where a lot of scope is there, where we need to do transformation. Okay, now let me talk about another aspect. We have seen AI in governance. What about AI governance? So we all see this rosy picture that AI will change everything, AI will do this, that. But then, how can this be achieved? Are there any pitfalls? Are there any issues which we need to be aware of and try to address? So when we talk about AI governance, first thing that comes to mind, you might have seen in the papers or other sources, a lot of concerns about safety, bias, etc., etc. AI platforms giving wrong answers or wrong identification of people, etc., etc. So how do you eliminate that? So bias in AI. So AI is only as good, somebody has said, as the data it is trained on. So you have to really ensure that algorithmic bias is eliminated through transparent development of the AI platforms, algorithms, programs. And then the data that is being fed to the platform to really learn and really become intelligent, that is neutral, unbiased, etc., etc. Now, for that, you need to have some kind of a regulatory framework. I will talk about what we need to do, but let me mention a few more points. So bias, that is one key issue. Second is data privacy. We're all aware about how AI platforms work, how AI applications work. They all use our data. Without data, they are not really intelligent, not really that intelligent at least. So we need to be concerned as to how our data, personal data, is being used by these algorithms to really provide you with the information, the services, whether there are any risks in that, whether privacy can be compromised. Now, there are certain aspects which are globally known, which we all should be aware, and there are risks which need to be mitigated. For that, again, we need a regulatory framework, a legal framework. And as you are aware, I'm sure you are aware that the DPDP Act, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, has been passed, so that addresses the concerns. But the larger issue of algorithmic transparency, bias, safety, etc., accountability of the online platforms. If suppose something happens, how are they accountable? Accountability of the social media platforms which use this kind of data framework, etc. How can that be ensured? For that, we need to have the larger legal framework in place, which is the IT Act. And do you know how many years old that act is now? Anyone? When was the IT Act passed? Our own IT Act, India's IT Act. 2000. So it is 25 years old. In digital world, 25 years is like many centuries or whatever. So we need to really think of a comprehensive, new reformed act, which will be modern, up to date, keeping the current circumstances into account. So that act needs to be really reformed. So we need to have a regulatory framework in place. We need to have a new IT Act if possible, which will take into account all the issues comprehensively and ensure that it is all really taken into consideration. So we talked about AI in governance, then governance of AI. So how do you go forward? So as I mentioned, the developments in AI are at such a rapid scale that we cannot really, we always need to perhaps keep the pace with it. So we need to think of comprehensive frameworks which can allow all the government agencies to exploit the capabilities of AI through a common DPI infrastructure, which will create the necessary digital infra across the various government domains. Develop use cases in different domains. Bring all the stakeholders. The government cannot really do it on its own. It has to bring the private sector stakeholders on board to really learn from the best practice around the world and focus on use cases so that it can develop meaningful applications for the domains in which they are working. So I think these are some of the basic features of the framework that we should be thinking about when we talk about future of governance or reimagining governance in the age of AI. I'm sure in the coming time, we will see very exciting developments in the domain of governance because of infusion of AI at various levels. Government departments, they need to be really ready to ensure that this is implemented in the domains. Let me talk briefly about my own current domain, that is border management. So far the approach to border management has been traditional in the sense that we have fenced the borders, then we have put troops on the ground to really ensure that the borders are managed safely. But we haven't really used technology in the most effective way possible to really ensure that this can be done efficiently. So what we have tried to do, so one is that we need to think of how in the current situation we can deploy technology to improve the effectiveness of our strategy for border management. we cannot really hope that human intelligence will give us all the information. The information that we can get through technology deployment can be real time, can be really effective, and we can mount a response almost immediately to any kind of adverse incident. We can use sensors, we can use cameras, we can use AI-based algorithms to detect patterns which are harmful or which are really not as per what we expect to be happening on the border. There could be illegal attempts at infiltration, there could be smuggling attempts, there could be attempts at breaching the fencing, etc., etc. So all this can be done very effectively by using technology, and that's where we really are now working to ensure that with the use of technology and infusion of AI, we can really ensure that the entire border is kept as safe as possible. In the context of the recent developments in May with on the Indo-Pak border, this becomes even more important for us to really understand the effectiveness of border management in the present context. So I'm sure the deliberation that you have during the day will bring more light to the issue that I mentioned in terms of both AI in governance, AI governance, which focuses on legal and regulatory reforms, and the future of how AI can transform governance in the time to come. So thank you very much. Wish you all the best for the future deliberations.